lawsuits. Now, why will the work increase? Okay, we told you that the work is going to increase really fast. We've been saying that, but why is that going to happen? So there's increase in venture capital and private equity. You can see that there is data which is saying $39 billion was last year's venture capital and PE in India. Okay, here $39.2 billion across 814 deals. Okay, if you look at here 2020, you see this line here where my mouse pointer is. 2016 it was only 13.5, so this has tripled. Okay, top of the table they are saying geo platforms. These are the possible sources of antitrust inquiry, the big companies. Okay, in this is the market. Reliance Retail Ventures, Reliance Digital Fiber, so different companies. But
And guys, all of them have been before the CCI. Like
all of these,
yeah, Piramal has definitely paid a penalty.
yeah,
Zomato had was before the CCI. Geo cases had been filed, but they were exonerated. But certainly with the kind of uh, aggravated growth that Geo is having, I do foresee a lot of litigations happening.
so these five ventures were there, and all of them have been before CCI.
Yeah.
4 years back, the investment was much lower, so the growth rate would be lower. It has tripled now. CCI is looking at the potential of this sectors in India. It is doing sector studies. Okay, look at this. So CCI is free to do as much research as it wants under the
Yeah.
statute, and it has started to study the sectors originally. Like this, they are not going to rely on EU or US. Why? You can rely on EU law or US law if Indian law is similar, but you cannot say Indian market is similar to
Yeah.
US market, right? Even in constitution, they say that Indian constitutional development should be different, even if we borrow a provision from another constitution, right? So same way CCI is doing all these market studies. Why? So that future mein kuch hoga, so they will know where to start from. They will know what is okay, what is not okay. Look at this study. Shweta, you want to say anything about this study?
Okay, guys, this is actually extremely relevant and important, and this is the area that CCI is going to focus in the coming years for sure. Like, how many of you have heard of these VC funds and private equity funds investing in startups? Have you guys heard of funds like Sequoia, SoftBank for sure, Stellaris Ventures, and Tiger Global? Have you guys heard of these VC funds who are investing in startups? Okay, so this is an area of law that you guys should definitely know of, especially if you're interested in the whole startup bubble. So what is happening is, like, the best example that I can give you was that there is a VC fund called SoftBank. Okay, that has an investment in Uber and has an investment in Ola. Now, what the future prediction and the future contemplation that is happening is that if one particular VC fund is investing in competitors like Uber and Ola, does it mean that there can be a future possibility that Uber and Ola can get to collude amongst themselves? Or today, SoftBank can have a joint ownership or have like a controlled ownership on two rivals. So what does it mean? Like, SoftBank is in a position where possibly it can happen in future that it will give a opportunity to Uber and Ola to collude and kind of coordinate pricing, as we say. Now, I'm not placing any allegations, I'm making that disclaimer, but these are the kind of theories that are propagating, that how much should these VC funds and investment bodies be allowed to invest in startups that are competitors to each other. That is why it is studying the ownership patterns to see that how much investment SoftBank has in Uber, how much it has in Ola, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. This has a direct interface with M&A and PEVC. Like, for all those who are interested to become M&A lawyers in future, so this is the direct correlation that is there with the transactions, and for the next 1 2 years, this will be that major focus. And more and more transactions have to now get notified before the CCI. What was happening is, guys, do you know about the WhatsApp acquisition that happened by Facebook? It's such a big acquisition, guys. It was $1 billion, and yet it did not get notified before CCI, like, just because of technical restrictions that the act gives. And now CCI is thinking that no, had we actually looked into it, or something could have been done, then we could actually kind of have a say right now. Now everybody's making a hue and cry about, oh, WhatsApp is sharing information with Facebook. Of course, it will share information. You did not try to stop or assess the transaction at the earlier stage. So now these kind of issues are happening. So this is the kind of I would say, line of research that would happen in the PVC sector.
Okay, Indian market is also getting sophisticated with technology. Everything that is new technology sectors are emerging. Okay, like, and these players are growing fast. What was earlier technology today is a variety of different industries. Online payments, online wallets are different, digital lending is different, insurance technology is different, agri technology is different, ed tech is different, healthcare tech is different,
Yeah.
deep tech is different. There are many more subsectors. Okay, why? Because technology is becoming so advanced that they are having smaller sub brackets in the sector, and each of these brackets is now getting lots of investments because there are newer startups in this area. 5 years down the line, you will have some of these grow really fast, and technology is historically the fastest. A company in the technology sector would grow the fastest.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of these would in the next 3 to 5 years have really big market leaders. Okay, and look at this, 87% of all deep tech investments were in artificial intelligence and machine learning startups in 2020. Okay, there are many more sectors, and NASSCOM, for example, has done a survey where they have said that India has currently about some 12, there were 12 unicorns last year. What is a unicorn? A company with $1 billion valuation.
Yeah.
This year, total number of unicorns is going to cross 50.
Look
A
at the
$1 billion company is very much in a place to be a market leader, a dominant player, and that kind of a company will need a competition lawyer in the in-house team. That kind of a company will need external law firms who are advising on competition law. And 2 years back, 3 years back, I remember we used to count like 5 unicorns in India, 6 unicorns in India. We used to count like that. Now it has increased tenfold. Okay, so technology and capital together are leading to emergence of new industry sectors. In next 5 years, we will have other areas may market leaders having antitrust cases. They'll already have market leaders, but it may be that they are smaller, growing fast. It's still like coming up. Okay, but like it happened with Oyo and Zomato, we will have cases in the next 5 years. Plus, a competition commission will have market studies ready for that, so they will be more active on this side. Okay, this is about the NASSCOM report. By the way, Byju's has become a Decacon, which is $10 billion company. So these are the companies that have grown, are continuously growing in size further and further, and in need of these solutions. Competition law issues will be faced in all these sectors. Fintech has become an emerging sector of its own, and jurisdictions are changing internationally. Countries are changing their competition law to keep a check on fintech giants. Shweta, you want to explain quickly?
So basically, what happens is whenever there is a particular area of like industry that actually becomes really strong, then the competition law also starts, and like the government has to focus that okay, we should have industry specific laws for in our competition act, and that is something China is doing right now. Like because fintech giants have become really huge in China, like Alipay and all these companies. So now China is kind of revamping its monopoly law. Even in India, what happened? Did you guys follow the FDI rules that were revamped in the last 2-3 years? The FDI press note 2 policy that had come out. What had essentially happened? The government basically told the e-commerce players, the foreign e-commerce players, that you cannot put undue restrictions on your suppliers. You cannot have exclusive agreements with them. Okay,
So
so
Amazon can't tell its supplier that you must only give your
yeah, products
sale
to
to me and not to Flipkart.
Flipkart. Yeah,
Simple terms.
because that is what was happening, and this was a competition issue. So then from here they could make a correlation that okay, no, we need to change our FDI laws. So whenever a particular industry is growing, so that's what I said, that the laws have to also change around that, and that is what is happening.